Okay, there you go. Uh, it might help to turn the microphone. I'm sorry, guys. Yes, we are live, Robby. Um, uh, but it's hard to be alive. Uh, Antipolo. Antipolo, is that? I never heard of it. I don't know where it is. Is it supposed to be here in Angeles, or can you guys hear me now? Hey, Michael, how are you doing? Uh, we're trying to get the live feed going here. Uh, I had my microphone muted in the morning. I don't know. Um, hey, do you want to come on board with me? Let me do this. All right. Let me do this. Uh, Here, anybody who wants to come online and have a little chat with me, go to that link that I provided. Good morning, my wife. She's a faithful watcher. She she watches us from the bedroom. Oh, okay. So it's an hour out from Manila, um, on the north side towards Angeles, or is it elsewhere? East, west? I guess I can try to figure that one out. Yeah, I do need more coffee. So, Michael, hop on board there. Come on in to the live feed. Did you get the link? It's fairly easy. You when you have the link, you go to that link and then you fix. Okay, Antipolo is east of Manila. I never heard of it, but that might be my um, that might be my uneducated self that just have that. So, how you guys out there this morning? My wife just told me we were hoping that this quarantine would go away or at least go into ECQ. But what did you say now, hon? The quarantine? Modified enhanced quarantine. Modified enhanced community. No, modified enhanced community quarantine, right? Yeah. Yeah. So they came up. Okay, so here we go. We have Sir Michael here. Let me see if I can let him in. Okay. Yeah. I never heard of it, but I have a headset on here. Do you have a headset, Mike? My uneducated self that just have that.
Well, we all learn something new every day, right?
Yeah, we do. So we have. Uh, so let me turn the volume off here. I hear myself coming back. It's a little aggravating. Go into ECQ. But what did you say now, hon? The quarantine? Modified enhanced quarantine. How's Michael doing? Enhanced community quarantine, right?
Hello.
Are we getting you ready?
Yeah, I'm getting my mic position here. Great.
Yeah.
How are you doing this morning?
All right. So I am doing very well, and we have a few people with us. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Mike. I'm surprising you here.
Yeah, there's a big delay here.
Yeah, it is a big delay. We got to work on that.
Yeah, don't quite have ECB here. IFB, excuse me.
Yeah, there is some weird stuff going on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like coming back like about a minute later.
Yeah. So.
Oh well. Hey, everything's
I know.
good here this evening.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
If you're having issues, try disable audio processing.
Yeah, literally the delay is at least a minute. It must be bouncing off the moon.
Yeah, but it might help turn off the. How's that?
Okay, we're here.
That should be.
That may have fixed it.
Yeah, I think I was the one injecting the.
Oh no! Literally, yeah, literally, it's still delaying. Yeah, it's still delaying. I'm hearing it come back about maybe 30 seconds to a minute later.
All right, but don't watch anything. But actually, you're probably hearing yourself coming back via YouTube on the channel. All right. Yeah, it is a delay. How, Robby? How is that delay right now? Are we doing okay? We learn as we go here when we're. The problem I have with this StreamYard is that the comments of the subscribers when they're chatting in the chat window is about 30 seconds to 45 seconds delay. So you got to kind of keep a window open with YouTube because you get it there. But I forgot to mute it. That was the problem, and that's how we got the echo. It came back into my system, so to speak. So we have there. Yeah. So let's talk about. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening here. Everybody said that we were going to go to general.
Drinking too slow. That's great, John.
Yeah. Everybody says that we were going to. One of them is drinking too slow. John. Yeah. Well, coffee doesn't do anything but push up. So let's talk about the quarantine. Here in Philippines, they're lifting the quarantine almost everywhere to enhanced, from enhanced to general quarantine. Our governor for the Pampanga region came up with his own idea, and he is going to keep the enhanced quarantine, but he put the word modified in front of it. That means from what I understand today, right as of now, without having done too much of research, it means that we're pretty much doing the same thing we did, the same thing we did for the last 2 months, except that some people that work in Manila and some essential workers will be able to return to work. But I don't foresee that we're going to see a lot of changes, at least not for the next 2 weeks.
And this begins when?
That begins on the 16th.
I think I got rid of the delay by turning off the YouTube and just staying on the StreamYard.
Yes, yeah, that's the only way you can do it, because otherwise you're going to have echo.
Now we're cooking. I'm sorry, go back again on the quarantine. It's still scheduled start for the 15th, but that's just, or is that an extension?
No, it is an extension of the quarantine, but everybody, and this is what I suspected yesterday. When I was on the CNN Philippine website, and I saw that Region 3 that we are in here was not included in the move from enhanced to general quarantine. So I said, why is that? And everybody said, no, we're going to general quarantine tomorrow. And I said, I don't think so. And I figured it out, and I think I was right. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, small steps in the right direction.
Yeah. All right. So, do you guys hear us okay now? This is the first time I even invite somebody to come and sit down with me and have a little chat going on. And Mike and I can talk for hours when we're in private. So,
Exactly.
but he gets a little quiet when we're in public. So,
no, we're just Shell and I've been working on the feeding mission. We've joined forces together, and so we got it's been successful, I would say.
So far.
And I'm in awe of what we have been able to do with very limited resources. My bank account certainly doesn't have many zeros in it. Well, maybe it has too many zeros, but it needs some ones and nines in there. But it's been amazing, and and like I said, seeing the faces of the families and their gratitude, knowing that we are literally keeping them alive, because I just shudder to think what may have happened if you hadn't gotten out and began to just start taking care of neighbors.
Wow.
That's a great example for the whole world. That's what we all need to be doing right now, is taking care of one another.
Yeah, taking care of one another. Yeah, absolutely.
We could certainly heal. I had a friend reach out to me today and talking about other needs in other areas, and I said, if we would just all share a meal, just share what we have. Split that bowl of Cheerios or whatever it is with someone. Glass of milk. We'd start really healing the world right now. I mean, you're talking about really change the energy level and changing the whole dynamic of what we're experiencing right now. This is what we really need. I mean, there's so much negativity in the world, and as it is, so much fear. We just need to be bold and start helping one another.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite phrases is, love conquers all. So, and this is where it is. Charity begins at home, and it begins with our neighbors. So,
right. Yeah, that's true.
kudos to you for starting this mission.
Yeah, thank you. And it's been fun, though. It's been a really fun event. Okay, Robby. So you're saying um, you need a international flight. I can, from what I hear, there is not going to be any international flights here. Um, uh, the only flights that are possibly going are what they call sweeper flights, I think, at least for now, out of here. And most of the sweeper flights, they cost like um, uh, thousands of dollars just to get from here to U.S. right now. I heard somebody said they had to pay $6,000 to get out of here.
Mm.
One way back to the United States, which is, and they said, well, that's the government because the government pays for these flights. And okay, so the airliner, when they're flying regularly, need $1,200, right, for a round trip, and the government needs 6,000 for a one way. That sounds like the government to me, huh? It's funny. So anyway, John. So let's talk about that a little bit. What specifically are you talking about the bad news on TV? We obviously I don't watch United States TV too much. I don't get too involved in it. What are the bad news? Do you have some? Um, all right, I'm trying to read up. You see the comments, right, Mike?
Probably not right there on that right channel.
If you look on YouTube, you should see the comments to the right there, going back and forth. So if you're co-hosting, you can always comment on anything you see there.
Okay.
Give you a little.
If I open up the YouTube, then that's where I'm getting the.
Right. Well, mute YouTube on the mute button on the bottom there on the actual video screen. You see, you can mute incoming sound. You see it?
Let me launch it again.
Yeah, it should be. Sorry, guys, we're having practice session in online live broadcasting here, but we're getting there. All right, John. So, Mike, you're dealing a lot with that over there in the United States, right? But
it's just chaos. It's a politics. There's some rays of hope and there's some not. I mean, there are money starting to flow. That 2.2T has barely been touched. They're voting on another 3T. I won't get into the politics side of it. I know, like here in Texas, where I'm at right now, they just released a 1B for what they call the SNAP
Right.
benefits and that covers the kids who were getting a couple of meals a day from school. So now it goes on the SNAP EBT cards for the families. So that's going to help them out. And I think if I remember correctly, most of this is probably happening across the state. So it's just it's slow rollout, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've seen that, but they're saying opening up too fast, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I keep monitoring Sweden pretty tight. When it comes to this, because that's where I'm from, that's where I have family, that's where I have. So and to my surprises, they're no worse off than any other country. Italy, who shut down, France shut down, Spain shut down, New York shut down. Sweden have better numbers than all four of them,
Right.
and they never shut down. So I think there's I'm not a specialist, but I think there's a balance somewhere in between there.
Agreed.
You shut it down to the point where your hospital system doesn't get overloaded, and then you keep opening up and try to balance the hospitalization. But I saw, if you're talking about news, I saw they are now dismantling a lot of the hospitals, emergency hospitals they put up in convention centers and everywhere. They're dismantling it, and I think the ship left New York too, right?
Yeah, about a week ago. Right.
Yeah. So
now, I mean, Trump did stand up to Fauci today about him wanting to slow down the reopening. So he didn't go for that. So.
Yeah. John, I think at some point, I read an article yesterday, and I'm not going to weigh in on it, but I'll put it out there because it's very interesting. It was a study done. Back home in the United States, and it is now, and United Nations actually came out with those numbers, or not so much numbers, but the warnings that the complete shutdown of the entire globe is by far going to supersede the coronavirus when it comes to mortality because of starvation. Mm-hmm. And I think here we are trying to stop one thing from happening and creating a much bigger catastrophic event on the back end of being shut down. Mm-hmm. All these countries, and especially the third world countries, the poor countries of this world, they're going to suffer tremendously. And it is expected that as many as 500 to 600 million will go into starvation. And those are people that makes less than $2 a day.
Correct.
And over 600 million people of those, and a lot of those are going to succumb under starvation, because what we are trying to stop here is it has been, I wouldn't say out of proportion, but the consequences of what we're doing right now is going to be a lot worse down on the back end. At least that's my belief. I said it 2 months ago, and now UN is even coming out with those reports. So I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah, the LA Times printed an article today from the United Nations talking about a global recession. I mean, recession is not even a nice word for it. It is actually depression, which reverse a 3-decade trend in rising living standard and thrust 500 million people into extreme poverty. Let me see if I can get the rest of the article up here, because it makes a very poignant statement. Let's see. Reverse a 3-decade trend in rising living standards, plunge as many as 420 million people into extreme poverty, defined as earning less than $2 a day. There's already 734 million people already there. So it's described by the UN as an economic tsunami, which will make it hard for many people to climb out. But the way I look at it is there is really no good way out of this. What's happened has happened. It's like a nuclear event.
Right.
It depends on how close you are to the blast zone, if we can use that analogy, because for those people who get this virus, and again, everybody's body is literally different. Everybody's experiences this to different levels. Some very hard. They go. What was a guy? It took two months to get out. of the hospital. Others, they're out in a day or two. It depends on how well they were prepared and their health and underlying conditions and such. And some people don't even feel much of anything.
Right.
Actually, my oldest daughter today, we kind of believe she got into it. She wasn't social distancing, even though we sat down and gave her a stern instruction when this thing happened, because she was out enjoying spring break with her kids and said, hey, you need to get home and hunker down and get ready because, they're getting ready to quarantine you. So, and we had explained what that was about because she just, she was typical millennial. She has no clue about
Right.
what this is like. I can only relate back to my parents and grandparents talking about the Great Depression and World War II rationing and my own experiences with when gas rationing happened in the 70s.
Right.
So the thing is that there is for those people who COVID hits hard, there can be, I don't want to say there is absolute because we don't know, but there is a high risk of permanent organ damage, brain damage, kidney.
No doubt, no doubt. And to use your analogy, I mean they're really close to the damage zone in a nuclear explosion.
Exactly.
And we understand that.
Yeah.
But like I have said, we're also going to have to deal. We're also going to have to deal with maybe half a billion people going into starvation here, and out of that, millions will die. There's no, and right now we have. I don't know. I haven't even looked at the statistics lately.
We're going to see an economic reset. I have that from high-level people involved in making that happen.
Right.
We could see that any week. Well, there have been small implementations, but there's a lot of speculation, and I won't go into that with all this money, this fiat currency going out, and those sort of things. But
is that why they're printing money like
madmen? I mean, the gold. I do have it confirmed by people who are involved in moving this money. Like in the United States, the U.S. gold currency is actually in the banks at your local bank right now.
Right.
And of course, part of it will come out in the form of like a cryptocurrency, but it's U.S. backed. Of course, it was also confirmed that the Federal Reserve is no more what it was. It's been merged into the Treasury. So there's a lot of things that will be coming out under this attack, if we want to call it that, against us. But talking about the long-term health effects, then there's a second and third tsunami that's going to hit us economically. It's going to have to change our healthcare system. And so there's really no great win out of what this virus brings on. Maybe it's more like the 1917-18 Spanish flu. Maybe it's like the polio 20s, 30s, 40s. Tuberculosis, has been trying to make a comeback. I had tuberculosis as a kid, but nobody knew I had it. They just thought I had some kind of respiratory
You just
issue.
found out. You found out.
I found out about 15 years later, taking a flight physical to learn to fly. And I was surprised. My parents were surprised when I went back and asked them, because my whole family could have been taken out with tuberculosis at the time. So anyway, there's no really great way. But we've got to move forward, and we've got to do what we can. We need to redeem the time we have.
Right.
Herd immunity, unfortunately, not everybody's going to survive this. I hate to hear that, because in my own thinking, my own mottos and stuff, I want to save every life I can.
Right.
We understand. This is our mission, and who's favored is those who do prepare and those who do take precaution seriously. And one of the great people I like following, and I did post this on my Facebook page yesterday, is Simon Sinek. and he's, he basically talks about, there is this new normal. We'll just never go back to what we known as normal. That's kind of hard to process mentally, but it talks about the people who will survive. The companies who are surviving are those who are willing to adapt, willing to make changes.
Right.
We've seen such a huge trend toward logistics and delivery
Right.
and such. So it's a big change, and we will thrive if we can adapt.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's see here. What do we got? Do you see the comment field? Let's get back to our viewers.
Inflammatory disease. Yeah, that's certainly a new one.
What is that all about, Jan? Or Tad? I've seen something about the Kawasaki. Is that what you're referring to, Tad? What do you know about that, Mike? Have you ever?
I have been following that. It's mainly, and I don't know everything about Kawasaki. I did see several news reports. There's a lot unknown about it, but it's basically a rash. It looks like a second-degree burn over these young children. So this is being tied to as part of how COVID is affecting some young children. I don't know if it is that they have underlying Kawasaki disease, if they already have full blown and it's causing worse symptoms, but
right.
I would probably venture to say this is an underlying condition only made worse by the virus.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So Robby, your wife is American. Will she be treated good here in Philippines? Absolutely. That's one of the reasons I like to be here. So we're kind of getting off the subject of COVID. Philippines is probably one of the most people-friendly countries in the entire world. Filipinos are like the first thing you do when you get to their home. You have to sit down at their table and eat and spend time with them. I think I see more and more actually white females, if you want to classify them that way. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, John. I see more and more white females coming here on their own, actually, and I've been following a couple of them, and one is a country woman or man, whatever, with me from Sweden, and she went down here and in the southern part of Visayas, and she's doing fine. She's just loving it here, and we all do. Most of us that are here, we are here for the reason of the people and the culture, the nature, and cost of living. Obviously, is one of the elements that we look into too, because where else could you live for $10 a day, basically, when it comes to food, and good food, that is as well. So it is just it's just the way it is, and
I've never talked to an American that ever had anything but glowing words to say about being in the Philippines.
Right. Yeah. And I have nothing bad to say about Philippines. There's a few things I have a hard time to deal with. I'm the guy that when I go out, I let's get it done now. And Filipinos are like, relax a little bit, we'll do it tomorrow. I think that's the Spanish part of Filipinos, right? They're very relaxed in that field, in that area. And I'm the kind of guy, if I take on a project or a task, I want it done now, or if I could, I'd had it done already. That's the kind of way I do it.
Well, then don't go to Brazil.
I'm assuming. Uh, I'm assuming that's about the same thing in Brazil, right?
Oh no, they won't let you discuss business unless you've been there for 10 days. They want it. They literally
Yeah.
will tell you we're going to take the American out of you for the next 10 days. So sit, relax, enjoy the hospitality. Stay a while.
Yeah, John. Yes, Dumaguete is a really, really nice place. We have actually family related to us that lives down there, and I know for a fact, there's a lot of foreigners living down there in Dumaguete, and uh, most of them, I haven't heard anyone that says anything bad. People. Uh, uh, people really like it down there. So, um, if you're planning on coming here, if you're planning on retiring here, uh, what I would suggest is take a long vacation, a month, 2 months, uh, and don't make a hasty decision when you're over in the United States and say, hey, I'm going to move to this place, right? You come here, you enjoy it. You can rent Airbnbs for $20 a day.
Mm.
You can travel the country, enjoy and get to see a lot. And uh, after a month or 2 months, you have a little better idea of, I'd like to live here, but I wouldn't like to live here. Uh, I moved here to Mabalacat, for the very reason. Hold on, guys. Check who it is. Check who it is. Don't answer it. Just check who it is.
We'll take a station ID break here. Yeah, Robbie, you're right. Brazil is definitely
Okay.
having a crazy breakout of the virus. That's
Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So let's get back here on the conversation. Sorry about that, guys. Uh, you, no, you know, white men here can be treated really bad if they're a holes. If you're bad, you will get treated bad. But if you are um, a normal person, treat everybody with respect. Filipinos will treat you with respect. Period. There's no doubt about it. Here in the neighborhood, we've dealt with this now for the last 2 months. I've been out more in the neighborhood in the last 2 months because of what we have been doing with the feeding and all that stuff. Uh, I've been out here and I met hundreds of people, hundreds, and everywhere I go, it is good evening, sir. Good morning, sir. Hi, sir. And there's a smile. Uh, um, so people are actually uh, very friendly, and I don't see that there would be much of a difference because you're a female. You treat people correct. There's going to be a lot of good stuff going on between the female and Filipinos as well. So it's no problem at all.
John, you were talking about asking about the typhoon. It should skirt on the eastern edge of the Philippine Islands,
Yeah.
basically, and so it'll be at least 100 miles from the latest forecast from Manila. So
Oh yeah. We had some requests there. I haven't. Can you check into that, Mike? Well,
that was as of 2 hours ago when I looked at the report. So it instead of coming right through the center of all the islands, it was going to go to the east, and they were saying the eye would be a good 100 miles east of Manila. So no real threat there, just a little bit of wind, some rain.
Okay, so since you and I looked at it on the disaster report, uh, it actually has weird. Oh, Mike disappeared from us. I think he turned himself off, but that's okay. He'll be back. All right, Brazil, breakout of the virus. Okay, here is Kevin. I don't see a camera, Mike.
Here. Sorry, I knocked myself.
All right, there you go. There you go. All right.
Let me look at the Typhoon Center here.
Right, we get to the Typhoon Center. Mike is my he's a good friend of mine, and he'll be my assistant pulling stuff up that we get questions about. That way I can focus on talking to you guys.
Yeah, basically it's going to skirt right pretty much the eastern part of the Visayas, come into the northern part just of the island.
Slap the link in here in the chat. Can you do that on YouTube?
I sure can. Let's see. On YouTube.
That way we can provide that link to our we got 15 people watching us right now. So while you're at it, guys, just come in and hit that like button too. That means a lot for us.
Let me put that in YouTube or into the
no, into the chat link, to the side of the
yeah, it's not taking for some reason. Let me try this. It's a picture, it's a GIF format, so it's not taking.
But you have a web page for it? I'm assuming you have a web page, right?
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, so
just copy the link up in the address bar.
That's what I did. Yeah,
Okay.
I put that in there. Let me try again. Well, we'll try a fifth time.
Right. If you so
Chris, I'm in Hondo, Texas, which is about 28 miles west of downtown San Antonio. Just about, we're right within sight of the Texas Hill Country. Very nice here. I describe it kind of similar to San Diego weather, which is, and I could be wrong on that, but that's what it reminds me of the times I've been out in San Diego. But very friendly people here. A lot of, even the teenagers have great respect for you. They'll hold the door open, even like a 16, 17-year-old teenage boy will hold the door for you and say, hello, sir, welcome, that sort of thing. So it's a great family-oriented community. So that's my PR, and it's very inexpensive to live here for the most part. Let's see. I'm going to try something else here in the chat. Yeah, send some cheese, Chris. We'll send you some steak. Let's see. No, it's not going to, that for some reason it is not going to take. Let me try another way. I'm sure there's another way of getting it, but that's what I'm linked to. But basically it'll come on shore just directly east of Baguio into northern Luzon. Now, I can't make that work, Joe. Not sure why.
Okay. You should just be able to paste it right into the chat.
Yeah, for some reason it's just not recognizing it. Exactly.
Okay. Why don't you just copy it and send it to me?
That we can do. Where do you want me to send? Where do you want me to send it to you?
You can send it in the team account, whatever, and let me know when it's there, and I go and grab it.
I will do so here momentarily. Your way.
Yeah, so we are going to do something different here also. I'm gonna pull
Now
up
that's a link to the page, but let me get you the link to the graphic as well.
Isn't the graphic included in the page itself?
It should be. Well, yeah, you got to go through some links. This is probably what the problem is. It's a government site, so military site. So here you go. You should have both there.
Okay. All right. So let's see here.
Typhoon Vangfang.
Yeah. So,
yeah, Robby. Actually, the stores don't look too bad here. We don't have the lines as. I can't say there's. Yeah, I've heard there's some lines in San Antonio, but certainly not the lines they have in Dallas at the stores. And our stock has been. I mean, hey, right when all the toilet paper raids happened, I mean, the shelves got real empty fast. But 30 days later, started looking good, and the last 2 weeks have been pretty much back to normal. So we're a small town. I think it's about almost 10,000 population. County seat, very quaint. One theater, a few good restaurants, some fast food, and a Walmart supercenter. So,
yeah.
like I said, I like it here. It's about half the cost of living in San Antonio, and people are great here. Very respectful, very friendly. They'll just stop and neighbors and just talk to you in the stores. So,
Yeah. So that link doesn't work at all. I wonder if that's strange.
You see the graphic in the?
No, I can't. I can't see it. So.
Yeah, I'm seeing it in your chat right below the Me Talk graphic .gif. .gif.
Yeah.
Now it's showing actually a thumbnail of the graphic, but sorry. Anyway, yeah, it's what it is.
Yeah. So we have a little bit of that. All right, so let's get back to. All right, let's see. Do we have anything interesting?
Phoenix only limited amounts of meats. That is a lot of stores.
Yeah, this one is funny. I don't know if you know anything about Rafi Tolfo, Mike.
No, I don't.
Okay, let me tell you a little bit about the guy. He's a funny guy, but he is also taken on and helped a lot of foreigners that has actually been pretty stupid. What I would say, and I'm not going to degrade anybody and put anybody down, but they fall heads over heel in love and sends $200,000-$300,000 over here for the girlfriend to build homes and stuff. And when he gets there, he gets booted out. They have no access because foreigners, as you know, cannot own land. They cannot own anything, basically, right? Unless you lease the land, you can actually own the house, but you can't own the land that the house is built on. So in most cases, these guys have been spending literally thousands of dollars, tens of thousands. I mean, I've seen Swedish guys, I've seen British guys, I've seen on Rafi Tolfo, and that's correct, Dad. Some of those shows are actually funny and they're worthwhile watching. I watch some of them, and I'm thinking, man, how can they do that?
So he likes to do pranks. I'm just kind of reading a little profile.
Oh yeah, he does pranks too. He was pranking a superstar YouTube blogger actress here yesterday.
Ivana Alawi, yeah.
Yeah, because she's been giving out these what do you call it? The relief packages, right? So they came up with a prank, and one of his girls was is played as the recipient on the prank and demanded 200,000 pesos from her because she got poisoned when she got the pack, right? And it went on for 10-15 minutes, and he is dead serious, and after a while, it was fun. I watched it actually.
John's got a good question here. Would 1,500 a month be good to live on and enjoy ourselves? And
Yes, yes. Let me tell you, I'd be personal on this one because I've done a couple of videos, John, and I don't know if you have seen them. My average monthly spending is roughly right around $800 to $1,000 a month. So if I spend another 500, I can take that 500 and go out and eat almost every day. Yeah, I would say you can do that. The 1,500 will get you a long way. Let me just give you, if you guys are interested, let me give you the rundown on my cost of living. I'll be personal with you. My rent is 12,000 pesos. If you write this down, that's roughly about $240, $240. That's my rent. My electric is generally now is actually gone down since I cleaned my air condition. It's been down to 4,000 pesos a month, which is roughly 80. So now you got $300 for rent and electric. I have an exorbitant amount of money spent on my internet because I work a lot. I do a lot of transfer of video files and other things. I work for a company, a broadcast company, and we swap video files and stuff. So I spent $60 a month on the internet. That's my by far most expensive utility bill in a sense because the need. But I also work and I actually earn my income having that. If I didn't have that kind of internet, I couldn't even earn a penny. So and then the water bill here is about $10 a month or less, $8 roughly, or 400 pesos. I pay 100 pesos a week for garbage, roughly 400 pesos a month. That's another $8 a month to pick up the garbage. So we're just the bills, overall bills, is right around $350 to $400. The other 300, 400 I spend is actually going for food. So yes, 1,500 is plenty. 1,500 is plenty.
do you have any taxes?
No, I pay my taxes in my home country.
Okay, but are there taxes there in the Philippines?
No, I pay. I mean, I'm working in U.S., so my IRS tax return goes back home. I earn the money there. My office is in Kissimmee, Florida.
But you just strictly in the Philippines pay a VAT. Right.
Yeah. If we do services in here or provide services, or if anything, but I haven't done that because providing services here, you're gonna get paid Filipino price, and I transfer those works if I do get them, and occasionally that has happened. I transfer it to Filipinos, to my developer team up in Angeles City. I just tell them, you guys go ahead and do it. So I don't take any Filipino jobs at all, and I'm very selective when it comes to my clients because I just simply don't want to do any more than these clients I've been working with for 25 years, one of them, since 1995. So I have long-term clients. I still take care of them. They still take care of me. And that's the way it's going to be. I don't accept any new business. I don't, I just say, come on, guys, I'm almost 70 years old here. I'm 66, right? All right.
You're still young.
Once we're on the subject of expenses, and I think we have touched on that on one of the other live feed. Yes, you can live good on that. But here's a little warning, and that is your healthcare insurance. Don't come here unless you have a buffer to pay for let's say you had a heart attack and you need a quadruple bypass, because I know the numbers on those and I know exactly what they cost because I have friends that had to do it. And unless you have at least 40 to 50,000, $60,000 set aside for medical emergency expenses when you retire here, or you carry a good policy that will pay for these things, that is what you absolutely need to. That's what you absolutely need to have and cover yourself. So that expense can be pretty high. You can get supplemental insurance like what do you call it? But it only pays like 20% of your bill, an emergency bill. So you always got to pay. PhilHealth is the word I'm looking for. So you got to have some kind of insurance. Otherwise, you'd be trapped here because they lock you up in the hospital until you pay the bill, and they won't let you out. So. Right. So I guess you saw my expense video. Yeah. Don't worry about it. If you have $1,500 a month that you can live on, that's your pension. You could actually save $500 a month if you wanted to. And obviously, if you go rent a condo in Manila and pay $800 a month, you're obviously under different circumstances. So it depends. Your cost of living depends highly on the lifestyle you choose to live. You can live an American lifestyle in Manila or Cebu or any other major city here, like Davao, and you spend American dollars, except for the food is cheaper. But as far as living, rent, condo, and all that, you can spend as much money here as you can over back at home in the United States. I choose to live in the community of Filipinos, and around me here, I've learned now, being out for the last month or two, I've learned now that there's a lot of foreigners in here that I did not even know about. So and we're here. We live with the Filipinos. I love them. They love me, and we're just getting along like any normal human beings. Yeah, taxes. Yeah, I haven't done my taxes. They should have been done April 15, but didn't they extend the time for taxes back home in the U.S.?
Yes, they did. July 15th, I believe it was.
Yeah. Yep. Robby is saying yes, yes, yes. That's just the only warning I want to give most of the guys here. That if you come here, make sure you have your health care covered. If you get sick and you say, let's say you're diagnosed with, cancer, whatever, right? You can always jump on a plane and get back to the United States once this whole COVID thing is over, and get your treatment. But if you have a heart attack and you need a bypass operation immediately, you ain't getting on a plane. and you have to go to a hospital and get that done. There's only certain hospitals you really want to do that at, and one of them is a hospital in Manila that does all these things, and they're as good as anybody around the entire world when it comes to quality of their surgery and all that. But I've had one friend, he was on this table and needed a heart surgery, and they said, "Well, give us your credit card before we start cutting you open." I mean, that's how they do it here. So and Mike, you're laughing. It's actually true. They actually asked him to pay before, in the event he would not survive.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
Yeah. Okay, so tax extension filing. When is the tax extension filing due? We can inform everybody here. We become a news bureau for United States tax Department, IRS.
Why not? You got call centers, so why not news centers, right?
Yeah, call center and news center.
Yep. Tax day's July 15th.
July 15th. Okay, everybody has to July 15th to do their tax filing. So I guess I'm included in that. But the funny part is I pay double taxes because, well, I don't pay really double, but on my pension from Sweden, which I get, and they actually take the taxes out right there. So I pay taxes in Sweden and United States. Yeah, here we go. Here comes one guy. And how much did you end up paying, Mr. Barrett? How much did you end up slapping in there? It was quite a bit of money, I bet. If you don't mind telling everybody. Yeah, tax filing extended in the United States to July 15, apparently. That's what they're saying. I have not verified that, so just Google it, I guess. Can you Google it real quick, Mike?
I did, yeah. I did confirm.
Okay.
Yes, it's July 15th.
Is that 15 million or 1.5 million or? Yeah, Robby has that question too. 15 or 1.5? I'm assuming it's 1.5 million pesos, right?
Yes.
Yeah. 1.5 million pesos, guys. That's what his heart surgery cost. And you get to, that's one thing I'm telling you. You got to cover your rear end on that. If you don't have that covered, you might end up being in big trouble down the road.
What's that equate to in dollars? What's that?
Well, divided by 50.
Yeah, so 700.
So you're talking 30,000.
30,000, yeah.
30,000 US dollars. And that's what I said, you should really have, at least for medical purposes, if you don't have a full coverage insurance, for medical purposes, you need to have at least 50,000 in the bank. So in the event, or a credit card, Black American Express with unlimited, you can have that too, and it would pay for it. But or a Discover card, like my friend said, use your Discover card, and then you discover later how to pay for it. Triple bypass with a valve job, right? But Mike, $30,000, right?
Right.
Figure this surgery in United States.
That's basically maybe 2 days in the ICU if you're lucky. In the United States.
But the price ticket is a little bit more, I would say, than $30,000, because as soon as they push you into the ICU, the bill is $100,000. It's just
exactly. No, yeah, you're probably closer to 1.5 million when you walk out with what you're talking about for a triple bypass with valves. It's probably 1.5 million US.
Yeah. So a 1.5 million pesos, John. So it's not. It is not 1.5 million US dollars. However, we think that if you did this in the United States, it probably well could come close to 1.5 million dollars. That's uh,
In fact, I'm
uh,
gonna Google it up. Heart bypass surgery. Well, this is. Let me see if I can find some more current numbers. They're talking about in 2014 dollars here. The average was 75,000 and change, 15,000 and change in the Netherlands, as an example. So
right.
yeah, it could be. It's going to easily be double that now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So here, John Mac Cardell. Yeah, it's kind of like that. I have another friend that actually they asked him for money up front before he had his heart surgery, and they wouldn't cut him open until actually the bill 50% of the money was there, and there he is, with his heart jumping 100 and 200 and 300 beats per minute, and then he really needed surgery, and he had to deal with call his sister in Great Britain and all kinds of stuff to get his money over here. He said, "Just do the darn thing, and we'll deal with it later." Nope. And they were afraid he was going to die, and they wouldn't get their money. So, yeah, that's what Robby says too. Yes, sir. No money, no money, no play.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, even with PhilHealth, it would cost a fortune because PhilHealth just covers a fraction of it. I don't think it's even 10%. It depends on the type of illness and emergency you have, but it's maybe 10-15%. So, yeah, that's what Mr. Barrett says too. I had to pay first before I could have my triple bypass. It's it's like walking into a grocery store. Before you can carry it out, you have to pay it. And same thing goes for this. Okay, so we are going to wrap this one up today, guys. A little quick update that we since we have a little bit more people on right now, right this minute. The enhanced community care quarantine has now been changed in this area, Angelos, Mabalacat, to modified enhanced quarantine. What that means, I am not 100% sure, but I heard that people that now have lost their jobs, they work in Manila, and they live here, they come home on the weekends, which is typical. Even my brother-in-law worked in Manila. He has not been able to work for over 2 months because literally there's no buses. So now they're going to open up some bus transportations. Buses are going to go. I think they're allowing 1/3 of the capacity of the bus, which means that they're going to have social distancing. So I guess they're going to add more buses, and people can go back and forth to Manila to go to work. That's the only thing I've heard so far that is different from today. Uh, that's the only different that I have heard, and we'll see. Next our next live feed, by the way, will be Sunday, Manila time, 8 a.m. Actually, Saturday night Eastern Standard Time at 8 Central Time is 7 p.m. Anybody else want to come online with me? Just send me an email. Let me put my email out here in the end. And see if that goes out. I'm going to put that up here so you guys can take that email down. I like to interact with subscribers. You have, even if you don't have a webcam, you can come on, because I can slap your voice up here, and you can have your webcam turned off or whatever. But it's more interesting and it's fun. I can put up to 4 or 5 people, 6 people on here at the same time, so we could have a real fun session for an hour. We are going to sign off. Mike, thank you for being with me today.
Hey, thanks for asking.
And I'll sign off. God bless everybody today, and wherever you are in the world, you have a blessed day, blessed night, good night, sleep, whatever. God bless, and we'll see you Saturday night.
God bless you all. Great talking with you.
Bye-bye.